There are moments in life when we feel like shadows in the background, moving through the world unnoticed, unacknowledged, and slowly fading into a silence that becomes more familiar than love. And in those moments, we begin to wonder, do I matter? Does anyone really see me? She was living in that silence. Her name, it could be anyone's, yours, mine, a mother, a daughter, a wife, a sister, a friend. But for the purpose of this moment, let's just call her, because she represents so many who have felt invisible in a world that moves too fast to stop and truly notice the quiet ones. She walked through her days doing what she was supposed to, smiling when people passed her by, nodding at meetings, answering messages, folding laundry, holding in her tears, holding everyone else up, while no one even thought to ask how she was holding up. She had given everything, her time, her energy, her love, her loyalty, but somehow it never felt like enough. No one saw her sacrifices. No one celebrated her strength. No one looked into her eyes and said, I see you. I mean, really, I see you. And so she shrank a little more each day, not because she was weak, but because she was tired of being overlooked, tired of being expected to carry the weight of the world while pretending it was light. She wasn't angry, she wasn't bitter, she was just unseen. But then something happened, something that changed everything. And that something, my friends, is what we are here to talk about today. Because the truth is, every single one of us has either felt invisible or made someone else feel that way. Whether intentional or not, we live in a world that often values loudness over stillness, recognition over quiet impact, and surface level connections over soul level understanding. We scroll, we skim, we glance, but we don't see. And that is a tragedy we have the power to stop, starting now. Now, if you've ever felt like her, unseen, unheard, unimportant, I want you to lean in and hear me clearly. You are not alone. You are not broken. And most importantly, you are not invisible. Sometimes the world simply forgets how to look deeper, but the world can relearn, and it will if you lead it. Before we dive deeper, I want to pause for a moment and invite you, yes, you, to be part of something bigger than this moment. If this message touches something in your heart, subscribe to the channel so you never miss another voice that speaks to your soul. And don't be shy, share your story in the comments. What's one moment where you felt unseen, or perhaps one moment where someone finally saw you? Your story might be the mirror someone else needs to find themselves again. Let's come back now to her, the woman who felt unseen. You want to know what changed her life? It wasn't a grand gesture. It wasn't a sudden spotlight. It wasn't fame or fortune. It wasn't a perfect partner or a flawless plan. It was something so simple, so powerful, and so within reach for each of us. Someone noticed. Someone saw her, not for what she could do, not for what she gave, not for how she looked, but for who she was. That someone paused long enough to say, I see you, I value you, you matter. That moment lit something in her heart. It reminded her that she was still there, beneath the exhaustion, the masks, the daily grind, and that reminder became her revolution. She started seeing herself, noticing her own strength, labor, and kindness, her resilience. She began speaking up, not loudly but clearly. She began setting boundaries, not as walls but as doorways to self-respect. She began rising, not to prove anything, but because she finally remembered she deserved to stand tall. And this is what I need you to understand. What changed her life was not being saved by someone else, but being seen, because being seen gave her the permission to see herself again. This story is not fiction. It is the story of countless people around the world. It is the story of hearts that beat in silence, of souls that ache for acknowledgement, of lives that are lived in quiet service without applause. It is your story, it is mine. It is ours. Now, let's take a hard look at the world we've built, a world that rewards performance, hustle, and noise, but often forgets to value empathy, presence, and gentleness. A world where we post highlights but hide the heaviness. We reward charisma but overlook consistency, where we chase validation from screens instead of connection from souls. But what if we flipped the script? What if we started living in a way that made others feel seen? What if our eyes became soft enough to catch the sadness behind the smile? What if our words were brave enough to say, "You're not alone, I see you"? What if we became the turning point in someone else's story? You don't need to be rich, powerful, or perfect to make someone feel seen. You just need to be present. You just need to care. You just need to look at someone, really look, and choose to honor the human standing in front of you. So many of us are starving for recognition, not the kind that comes with fame, but the kind that comes with someone sitting across from you, putting their phone down and saying, "Tell me how you're really doing." That's the kind of seeing we need. That's the kind of love that heals. If you're feeling unseen right now, I want to tell you something directly from the bottom of my heart. You are not invisible to all worthy of love, attention, care, and respect. You do not have to earn your right to be acknowledged. You don't have to perform your pain or prove your worth. You just have to keep showing up as you are. And if no one has told you lately, let me be the first. I see you. I honor you. I believe in your light, even when it feels dim. And if you're someone who hasn't felt unseen but has the privilege of being recognized, noticed, or heard, I challenge you to become someone else's someone. The one who notices the person others overlook. The one who asks the deeper question, and to one who listens not to reply but to understand. Let us not wait for someone else to make the world warmer. Let us be the ones who turn on the light. You see, the deepest hunger in the human heart is not for success, status, or safety. It's for significance. We want to know we matter. We want to know our presence makes a difference. And when we feel unseen, it threatens that belief. But when we are truly seen, it revives us. It restores our hope. It brings us back to life. So if you take anything from this speech, let it be this. See people, see them deeply. See beyond a smile, beyond the surface, beyond the performance. See their pain, their hope, their effort, their humanity. And in doing so, you'll not only heal them, you'll heal yourself. And if you're still that woman, that man, that person who feels like no one sees you, don't give up. The moment that will change your life might be just ahead. Keep walking, keep being you, keep showing up, because you are worth noticing. And to the world that forgot to see you, I say this: watch closely. You are rising, you are reclaiming your voice, you are learning to see yourself again. And that, my friend, is how revolutions begin. Not with explode, with one moment of being seen. And sometimes that moment is now. There is a kind of silence that doesn't come from peace but from distance, a distance that creeps into relationships, not through conflict but through routine. And this silence, this quiet disconnect is not born out of neglect or betrayal, but out of the daily grind of life. We wake up, we do what we need to do, we speak in passing, we smile out of habit, and slowly, almost invisibly, love begins to fade. Not because it died, but because we stopped showing up for it. Not because we stopped loving, but because we stopped being present. And see, my friends, is where many marriages slowly lose their magic, not in the storms, but in the monotony, not in the arguments, but in the absence of attention. This is why today I want to speak to you about something that seems small, yet holds the power to transform everything: being intentionally present. When a husband and wife drift apart, it's rarely dramatic, it's usually quiet. It's when dinner becomes a silent affair, when conversations become transactional, when intimacy becomes routine, when eyes meet and when hearts beat next to each other but not with each other. This is what I call passive routine, a dangerous space where we believe love will just keep living on its own, without oxygen, without fuel, without care. But love is not a cactus, it's a garden. And no garden survives on neglect. It survives on intentional. Presence is not just about being in the same room. It's about tuning into your partner's heart. It's about putting the phone down, looking into their eyes, asking questions that go beyond the surface, noticing their mood, hearing what they are not saying. It's about reminding them, without needing to say it, that they are still your priority, still your safe place, still the one you choose even on ordinary days. In the early days of love, presence is effortless. You crave their voice. You want to know their thoughts. You hang on to every word. But over time, familiarity sets in. Comfort becomes complacency. We begin to assume. We begin to overlook. And that deep emotional connection slowly erodes. But it doesn't have to be this way, because presence is a choice. And when we choose to be present with our spouse, truly present, we breathe new life into the relationship. Let me take you into the story of one couple. Just like many others, they weren't fighting, they weren't broken, they were just busy. Careers, kids, responsibilities. They loved each other, but something had gone missing. They couldn't quite name it, but they felt it. The spark had dimmed, not out of the clear, but because they hadn't looked into each other's eyes with real attention in months. Then one night, the wife looked at her husband across the dinner table and asked, "Do you still see me?" He was taken aback. "Of course I do," he said. But she replied, "You look at me, but you don't see me. We talk, but we don't connect. We share space, but not our hearts." That moment shattered the routine. And from that night on, they made a new vow, not just to love each other, but to show up for each other fully, consciously, intentionally. Intentional presence looks like asking your spouse how their day really was and listening, not just hearing. Looks like putting away distractions during meals, holding hands when there's no reason, making eye contact, speaking life into each other with words of appreciation, laughing together, grieving together, dreaming together, creating small rituals that say, "I'm here with you and for you." You see, love doesn't disappear all at once. It slowly fades when we stop showing up for it. And it's not the big vacations or anniversary gifts that bring it back. It's the daily choice to be fully there, to pause the world for just a moment and say, "You matter more than this email, more than this notification, more than the noise around us." If you are watching this and wondering how to bring your marriage back to life, I have one simple, powerful suggestion. Be present, not halfway, not when it's convenient, but fully, even for 5 minutes a day. Give your spouse the gift of your undivided presence and watch how the walls fall, how the laughter returns, how the closeness deepens. Presence is not a luxury. is the heartbeat of love. Now, if this message is speaking to your heart, I invite you subscribe to this channel because I promise you we are building a space for healing, growth, and real connection. And you're struggling in your relationship, leave a comment below. Let's talk about it. No judgment, just understanding, just community. We live in a world that teaches us to chase success, productivity, and results. But in love, the most powerful thing you can give is not achievement, it's attention. Not performance, but presence. The kind of presence that says, I see you, I hear you, I'm here for you. The kind of presence that doesn't require a reason. The kind that says, I love you enough to pause for you. And let me say this to every husband, every wife listening right now. You don't need to have all the answers. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to be there, because being there fully and attentively is what makes your partner feel safe, loved, and understood. And when someone feels understood, they open up, they soften, they give back love in return. So tonight, when you see your partner, don't just walk by. Don't just ask, how was your day? Like a formality. Stop. Look at them. Really look. Hold their hand. Ask a deeper question. Listen not just to words, but to the emotion behind them. Let your eyes and your presence tell them, I still choose you. I'm still here. Presence over routine, intention over assumption, love over autopilot. That is how marriages are revived. That is how hearts heal. That is how love is reborn again and again. Thank you for being here. Thank you for listening. And thank you for choosing to be present, not just now, but every day moving forward. Because when you do, you are not just saving your relationship. You are giving it the breath it needs to thrive.